Because we are trying to, we have got very good judgment now. It set the standard, you have at least a standard. And it's a very good advocacy document to go to the politicians, to go to the parliamentarians. If we have a parliament, what we will do, our strategy is, instead of bringing the other case in the court, better we first have a parliament and go to the parliamentarian and ask, look boss, here is the judgment, and now you are, it's your obligation to enact a law. If we fail then we will try for that. Now I would like to move on to this, when torture and disappearances are not crime under Nepali law, what you are doing? I think the answer is same. Answer is the same for this as well. What we are trying to do is, as I stated, trying to invoke the universal jurisdiction, because Nepal's case is little different. Since we are just, we are in the peace process, and there are huge number of cases, of the conflict. There are war crimes, there are crime against humanity, not genocide, but war crime and crime against humanity, and serious crime under international law are there. So we are trying to explore the international justice. We are not party to the ICC, so we cannot go to the Hague. However, we can still, explore the universal jurisdiction, which allows various states to prosecute the people who are, who committed crime not in the territory of that particular state, but outside the state, and against the outside the citizen of that particular state. So one case is Kumar Lama case, the Colonel Lama, who has recently been prosecuted in the UK. The third question was about whether there is a people's support in our activism or whatever we are doing. Yes, there is a strong support. I should say here that we have a very strong civil society movement in Nepal. We have a very, very strong civil society movement, and sometimes civil society movements leads the political movement. Let me share it with you that in 2005, when King took over and suspended everything, including the constitution, then it was the civil society and the lawyer who came to the street and went against the King's step, but politicians were hiding in different huts. So then later on they joined. That's why I think there's a lot of support. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Govind. We can now move on and invite Mahbubur Rahman to talk about the Bangladeshi case, and we will then have our friend from Kashmir talk about Kashmir. But I will request you people to restrict yourself to 5 or 6 or maximum 7 minutes, so that we can quickly take.
Kashmir we don't do now.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah.
We'll do it separately.
Yeah, I mean, I will conclude, and I will not talk about Pakistan in specific. Yeah, he will.
Since I'm not that much prepared with the topic, rather I'd like to share some scattered view on the problem of torture, extrajudicial killing and disappearances in Bangladesh. So, these are the persistent problem in Bangladesh since the day of independence, if I do not go further back. And every year, thousands of people are being tortured in the custody of law enforcing agencies, and a good number of people are subjected to extrajudicial killing or enforced disappearances. And we have seen that during the last few decades, we have a strong civil society movements, our human rights organizations are cataloging all these incidents. They're advocating for the eradication of all these practices. We have stocks of unimplemented court directions and judgments, and we are repeatedly referring to different international standards, but the result is same. The problem is persisting, and day by day the problem is also aggravating. So the very good question is why we cannot come out of this problem. A very quick answer that we offer is that it is because of the repressive policy of the state. Because the state and the law enforcing agency tries to curb the dissenting voices through torture, enforced disappearances, and extrajudicial killings. This is true, but at the same time, I want to say that there are other angles through which we can look into the problem. Is the repression of the state the only factor that can explain this problem? I think not. And what I want to say is that basically torture, extrajudicial killing, enforced disappearances, these are in many cases employed by the state and by the law enforcing agencies not as a weapon of repression, but as a frustrated response to the problem of gradual collapse of the entire criminal justice system. Why? To explain this matter, I should say something about the overall formal criminal justice system in Bangladesh. We have the problem of impunity that is like any other South Asian states, and the problem is so great that if a person after committing a crime is subjected to trial, we can consider that he is very unlucky because he could not escape the trial, he could not escape the police, because in most of the cases the offenders in Bangladesh can easily, by employing different means, can escape trial. So problem of impunity is there. But nevertheless, despite impunity, a good number of people are subjected to trial. But at the end of the trial, we see that hardly 10 to 15% of the accused are convicted. So if in a system 10 to 15% accused are convicted, and at the same time there is widespread impunity, then one easy conclusion is that there is no causal relation between crime and punishment. You might easily can commit crime, but you will not be subjected to punishment. So crime is not necessarily subjected to punishment in our formal justice system. So when this happens, quite naturally from the ground, there should have some pressure on the government and on the law enforcing agencies for maintaining the law and order situation. And my thesis is in this regard is that basically sometimes the government and the law enforcing agencies try to short circuit the whole procedure and employ torture, enforced disappearances, etc. as method of punishment, in fact. So when they think that we cannot punish the offender in a judicial manner, then they think that it is better to punish the offender extrajudicially. And we have some documentation in Bangladesh in which we have found that sometimes it is administratively decided on paper who is to be tortured, who is to be subjected to extrajudicial killing. So it is now clear that the government and the state basically employ torture, enforced disappearances, etc. as a form of official but extrajudicial punishment. And another disturbing thing and another thing that we have to take into account is that whatever the human rights organization or the elite section of the society say, in most of the cases the mass people greet sometimes the cases of extrajudicial killing of a notorious offender. So it frequently happens in Bangladesh that an offender is put to death through a fake encounter or fake crossfire story. The elites of the society and the human rights organization outcry, but at the same time, people celebrate the occasion. and this informs us that the concept of punishment has not only changed at the official level, but it has also changed at the cultural level. And when there much pressure from the human rights organization, international donors, nothing substantial happens. Rather, what happens is that the problem shifts in the form. So when the number of extrajudicial killing reaches a high and there is criticism, gradually we will see that the number will decrease, but at the cost of increase in the number of enforced disappearances. When torture in police remand is severely criticized, we will say that accused would be tortured for 15 days or for 20 days before being forwarded to a magistrate. So what I want to say is that from the state level and from the law enforcing agency level, there is a demand line of torture, enforced disappearances, and all these evil practices. So all this put us to the question is that is our formal justice system that we are maintaining now for so many years is suitable to or is that adjustable in our society, and is that capable to solve this problem, or is this our formal justice system basically liable for breeding the problem of torture, execution, and disappearances? So this is a question that is not that much investigated at official or at civil society level, but this question of the investigation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Some very profound questions that Abu Rahman has raised. Any questions or comments, very quick comments from participants here?
I believe it's similar to when the state is not able to punish the offenders. It's similar like here in India, just being arrested is considered to be like punishment for the crime, and not being given bail is celebrated as being success and being the person being punished.
Any other question or comment to which Raghu should respond?
But what I think is that in South Asia, sometimes even filing a case is taken as a form of punishment.
Yeah.
Sometimes arresting a person, denying the bail is taken as a form of punishment. So what I want to say that the classical meaning